Good day, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to go over some levels I'm interested in. I just took this scalp short and I shared that over in the Discord. But I'm going to use a metaphor today to talk about profit taking. It came into mind yesterday, and I think it's relevant. And hopefully, this helps connect why you would take profits more aggressively and how you could think of your position. And this metaphor is going to be thinking of it as a boxing round or a boxing fight. So let's just say you've entered the fight, you've entered your position. Now, you might have some targets down here, right? That you want to capture. Or maybe you even think we could go to 10K. Well, if we want to think of that as a knockout, great. But in this fight, if all you ever do with your positions is try to land knockout punches, if you know anything about boxing, that's not going to go very well. If professional boxers got into a fight and they just start throwing overhand right haymakers, that's the only thing they threw, they're almost going to lose every single fight that they get into. Maybe they'll have a spectacular knockout after losing 50 fights in a row. So think of your taking profit targets as landing a jab. Price comes down here, you've landed a jab. Maybe here, a double jab. You've taken some profits off it, stop loss to entry. Now, you might get a chance to land some right hooks or, some overhand rights or even land a big knockout. But you might just win the fight on jabs and hooks. And maybe price comes down here. I mean, this is a target for me, down into this low, which is, I'll pull it here just for the educational aspect, from this low to this high. I don't actually even have the levels turned on here. It's the 382 and aligns with this trend line quite nicely. So that's around 21,024. But that's one of the local targets for this short that I took. And so what happens if price comes down to here? I take profits. Maybe I call that a jab. I mean, it's a pretty decent jab. It's a good move here, almost 5%. But maybe I take some profits here, and that's another jab. But anyways, then price comes back, stops me out at entry, but I've already won the fight. And I've taken profits, and now maybe price comes up, we swing failure this high, I take another entry, I land another jab, I land another jab, maybe I get a right hook in there, and then price comes back up, and I've already won that fight as well. Whereas somebody who's just looking for the knockout lost that fight, lost that fight. Maybe they've shorted here, they've lost that fight as well. So thinking about it in those terms, where instead of getting into that mentality of, people might consider it greed, where you don't want to take profits because price could go much lower. Think of it in boxing terms, where it's like, hey, I just won this fight on jabs already. I might land a knockout. Price might continue down to some lower targets, but I've already won the fight. I've already implemented some of my other punches, my tools, my fighting kit. I've landed jabs. I've landed straight right. I've landed a hook, and now I'm gonna go for a knockout. But I've already won the fight, because once you've taken profits off your position and you've set your stop loss to entry, you've won. And that's something that 95% of people in the market can't do consistently. So if you can do that, you're already a top fighter, right? And if you can do it consistently, you can consistently and safely grow a trading account. So, I find that something that a lot of people struggle with is taking profits off a position. Would it make sense, even right now, prices come almost 2% from my entry? Does it make sense for me not to have a plan to make this a winning fight already, when I have a 2% move directly from my entry? Does it make sense to allow this to now become a losing fight? Whether it's a small win, a bit of a bigger win, a huge win, doesn't really matter. I should not. I'm already in a position where I can win this fight if I throw a jab. If I throw one jab, I win the fight. And so, think about the position in those terms possibly. I don't know if this is a good metaphor. It came into my head. I thought I'd try an attempt at a video on it. But sometimes metaphors can help us understand concepts a little better. Some people might be boxing fans. Some people might not be. Maybe I'll think of synchronized swimming metaphor one day. But anyways, hope you guys are having a good day. I think ultimately this move up is interesting. We've taken this major high in the range. This is why I was shorting this level. I'll just go over this quickly at the end, not to leave you guys with only metaphors. Let me delete some of these lines, sorry. I won't, my OCD, I gotta delete them all. So we've taken this high, and now we've lost it, and we've kind of back tested it. We came a little higher, which was sort of anticipated because this was our local golden pocket from this local high, major high to local low. So that's where I shorted. But this could end up in a big rejection. My sense is that we might get something like this and take this high again. In which case I'll have already taken profits. I set my stop to entry. If I get stopped out, I can look for another short if we do that. If we take this high and lose it again. So just trying to consistently win fights here. Either on my jabs, maybe I get a knockout position. My primary target is actually to sweep these lows, but we do have some major support along the way. So just got to watch price action as it develops. All right. I hope you guys are having a good day. And I'll talk to you later.